Hi, I'm Auden. Today I am making 2 liners for a backpack, and I really like pockets, so lots of pockets. And I'm talking about how I decide where to put my facings, how big I make them, and how I place all of this. I'm someone who likes to have big pockets, and so no matter what pocket the pattern calls for, I draft my own, or I draft a lot of patterns too now. Okay, I'm making a backpack today, and I've marked in the green, the dark color, the 1/2 inch seam allowance. So because I maximize my pockets, I think about this from what is the largest pocket I can get away with. So here we go. My width across here right now is 12.5. But my seam allowance right here is 1/2 inch on each side. So when I'm looking at this, I have to say, like, okay, I really am working with an 11.5 inch space across. I have a ton of notes. So step 1 is like, okay, what's the finished lining dimension? Then I'm thinking to myself, if I'm putting a facing on here, like wherever I'm putting it, how much room do I want to have in between the side seam and the facing, just visually? Like, I know that no one else is gonna see that, but I'm going to see that. I like to have 3/4 of an inch per side. And I'm just talking about side to side right now. So I'm taking that 11.5 and I'm subtracting 3/4 from this side and 3/4 from this side. And that's giving me 10 inches. So I'm left with my 10 inch wide, like horizontally, facing. Here, how tall is my facing, right? Well, the zipper itself needs a little bit of room to come out, so that's a 1/2 inch right there. This is my 1/2 inch ruler. So that area is a 1/2 inch tall. And then this area that I've marked on top, on each side, is 3/4 of an inch. So this total height this way is 2 inches. I hope I'm explaining this okay. So here's my 2 inch ruler. This is it's also easy to cut, right? So I've got a 10 inch by 2 inch facing. I think of this as a ratio between the facing, the zipper, and the pocket pieces. If my desired facing I'm working with is 10 inches, then let me consult my notes. And so the box is gonna be 8.5 inches wide. It's nice to have a wider zipper under here to work with, because I can always cut it away when I'm done. So I like doing the entire facing width plus an inch. See how much overhang I have going here? So this is an 11 inch zipper that I have here. So then my pocket piece is also 11 inches wide. This is how I think about vertical placement. I find the center, and it's marked in the white chalk line. Then I I'm sort of like subtracting the seam allowance in my head, which in this case is 1/2 inch. I'm thinking about what kind of bag I'm making. Through trial and error, I have found out that for a bag that is straight across on top, I like to have something roughly 1 inch from the top. If it's like a slight curve, I like 1.5 inches from the top. And if it's, you know, like a fully, like a circle, I like 2 inches from the top. And depending on how big the seam allowance is, like I may or may not. Yeah, I think for a straight across bag, I would do 1.5 inches. I cut the center out and then I laid down tape. I kept the tape like away from the sides. That's just how I like to do it. And now I'm going to place this on my liner. I'm going to sew around the outside edge, top stitching. I sewed around the outside of the box, and now cut away the inside. Okay. I only have 2 pieces for the pocket instead of the usual 4 because this is nylon pack cloth from Canvas, etc. And it's kind of like a lighter weight waterproof canvas type thing. I'm gonna mark the right side with like an R. With the right side of the pocket up and the wrong side of the zipper down. I'm going to sew along here at the top. This is what it looks like. Now, open. Press the fabric onto itself. I'm going to top stitch along the zipper edge right here. With the right side of the pocket facing up and the wrong side of the zipper facing down, sew along the top edge. open up the seam, and I'm pressing the wrong side of the fabric to the wrong side. And I'm sewing along the zipper. This is 1/4 inch leather tape, and the idea is that the pocket that is forming under here is going to get attached by sewing a center box here. But I don't want to use a ton of leather tape. I just want enough tape to hold the center box securely. I know this is 8.5 inches long, so I'm gonna aim for around 9-inch pieces of leather tape and sort of try to center them. So there's a convention to closing bags that always confused me, and this is actually opposite. It should be the zippers close or open to the right and close to the left. So this is my left. And so I'm just gonna attach that and kind of center it. Now I'm going to top stitch around the center part, and that's gonna sew through all of this and come across right here. And that brings us to our next step, which is fold. So here's the top of the liner, and here's the top of the pocket. It folds down gently. Like, I had a lot of confusion at first. Like, am I supposed to yank this down? Like, am I supposed to put pressure? No, just, you know, let it fall down. It's okay. And then the reason that I didn't take any tape like out wide on here is I'm gonna clip down the side, and then there is a difference at the bottom in the lengths, and that's fine and normal. I'm gonna cut away, it's about 1 inch, and it comes from this difference right here. So I'm gonna cut this away, right? It's now scrap. Okay, so if I'm turning the bag through the pocket, so there's a method I like to do where I turn the bag through the bottom liner, and then I poke the liner out the pocket, sew up the liner, and then sew the pocket. If I'm doing that, I'm gonna leave this open. But if I'm not, like I'm doing binding on this bag, I'm gonna go ahead and sew from here down the side, across the bottom, and back up the side. And I'm gonna take it, I don't know, like it's up to you. Like if you like for your pocket to be wider than your zipper, keep that width behind your zipper. If you like a tight pocket, keep it tight. I vary. Sometimes I don't like to be reaching my hand into the side of my liner. And sometimes I'm like, yes, give me all the space. So it just depends. This liner does not extend, this pocket does not extend past the liner seam allowances. So it's fine. But I'm probably gonna go ahead and like bring it in a little bit, and then I am gonna trim it. I don't need to zigzag stitch or anything with this material. This is the back of one pocket. I'm also doing a slip pocket. It's gonna go below the zipper pocket facing. I cut a 10" by 10" piece of fabric. I put it right sides together, and I sewed the two short sides, leaving the one long side open. And then I turned it. I sewed it at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So what that did was it gave me something that is 5 inches tall by 9 inches wide. And then I had a facing for the slip pocket. I cut my slip pocket facing at 10 inches by 1.5 inches. I taped to the front and to the back. You'll notice that the back is longer than the front, and that's on purpose so that when I sew it down the front, which is the pretty side, I'm for sure catching the back, which is the not pretty side. And then I just cut the sides. And why does that work? Because when it gets sewn down, I'm gonna catch all these threads. So it doesn't matter that they're not secured right now. And then I have leather tape right here that I'm going to use to secure them to the liner and stitch around. I'm gonna also stitch down the center to make this into 2 slip pockets. I'm gonna place this, let's see, 1 inch below and centered. One thing that gets me sometimes is remembering to lift away the first pocket to sew the slip pocket on. I just did my second side pocket because there are 2 halves of the backpack, and I used my 1/8 inch leather tape to tape down the slip pocket, and it was way easier to get like as close to the edge as I wanted. So if you have the 1/8 inch leather tape, I got mine from Wawak, then I would say use that. Here is the completed liner, and it's nice because there's a nice big pocket and then 2 slip pockets to put like whatever in there. And I use this technique on the outside of bags also. And then here's the back. Thank you for watching this.